Quick turnaround for the Mariners as we are in midweek action this week on Wednesday as we host Accrington Stanley. Who are they, as they used to say in the old milk adverts? But a very interesting game to play Accrington in the past. It's going to be a game after coming off the weekend draw that I think it's important to see how the lads react to that. So it's going to be quite an interesting game. Accrington look very organised. That is for sure. They look a danger. I think, it doesn't feel like when we played them, I think it was last season here, when we beat them 5-2. I don't see that happening here. You never know, but I don't see that happening. Accrington as well, to be fair to them, they were a lot of people's favourites to be down the bottom end of League Two, and to be fair, that they're doing a lot more than people expected them to. So this is not going to be an easy game for the Mariners. If we look at the team news that Darren Artell gave to Radio Humberside, not too much has changed. Sam Lavelle is looks like he's going to be out a little while. Cam Gardner is back on the grass again, but still not. He's still a number of weeks away before he gets or can be put back in. So, but we have got the people like Sellers Fleming, who came off the bench on Saturday. Kasori, if we wanted to play him, we have got options. Terrell Warren could get another start. I know some people were knocking Terrell, but I liked what Artell said when he was saying that we've got chances. We've got a better overall squad, fitness wise, and so on this year. So it'll be interesting to see what Artell does. I'm sure there'll probably be 2 or 3 changes, only just because of the quick turnaround of games. You've got. I'm not saying there'll be 6 or 7, but there could be 2 or 3 changes from obviously the weekend, because after that we have Wolves on the Sunday, and then Walsall the following Wednesday. So I think this is the sort of period that Artell spoke about when he said we're going to need the squad, and it's periods like this where yes, we're going to need the squad. So I don't think there'll be a lot of changes, but I think there will be 2 or 3. As to where they will be, we'll have to wait and see. I'll give you some stats now in the about the game, and I'll be using Soccer Punter this time round for the info, and give all the stats and figures leading to Wednesday night's game. Again, I'm used to saying Tuesday. I can't remember the last time Town had two Wednesday games in consecutive weeks. I can't remember the last time that ever happened with Town. I'm sure I'll have to look at that as to when that last ever happened. I can't actually remember it, but here's some stats for you. If you look over the last 5 games, the Mariners have won 3 and drew 2. Accrington have won the last 3, drew 1 and lost 1. So they're in very, very good form. They obviously were a team I was able to look at over the over last Thursday when they played Salford. We'll get to that in a moment. If we look at the overall head-to-head situations, it's actually more in Accrington's favour. The overall figures is played 18 times. The Mariners have won 5. Accrington have won 9 with 4 draws. The goal ratio is 32 goals to 24 in Accrington's favour. That's a goal ratio of 1.78 for them and 1.33 goals for Grimsby. That also equates to a 50% win rate for Accrington Stanley, a 27.8% win rate for Grimsby Town. So, overall history, at least recent history, makes you believe that Accrington have a good record against the Mariners. Really, if we look at the last 4 games between the two sides, so we are going to go back to 2023. I think it was the season after we got up. Accrington beat us in the October of 2023 with a 2-0 win at Blundell Park when we went to Aki that season in February. Ended up in a 0-0 draw. So that season Grimsby didn't even score a goal against Accrington. Last season, however, Grimsby got a 5-2 win, which I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago. So a 5-2 win, 4-0 up at half time, hurrah. But when we went Aki in the reverse on New Year's Day of last year, we lost 3-2. That was a game really that we should have won, and we let it slip and lost 3-2. So fairly even last season. Well, it was even last season, and earlier this season, down at Accrington Stanley, it ended up in a 1-1 draw because we were 1-0 up in August at half time, but it wasn't enough to see it through, and it ended up being a 1-1 draw between the two sides. Since then, though, Accrington have, without a shadow of a doubt, improved. I did watch them against Salford on the Thursday night, and to say I was impressed, I'm not going to downplay that. I was very, very impressed with Accrington. Very well drilled, very well organised, especially at home and against. We talk about our draw with Newport. Well, Accrington beat Salford. And so I think that's why I didn't get carried away with the draw. Like I said, I could tell a lot of frustration in the fan base, but these were a team that beat Salford last time out. Harrogate beat Cambridge, but at least we got something out of our game, and I think that's something that we have to look at to go, okay, if you can't win a game, then don't lose it, and we didn't. So I think the way Accrington are, I think it's John Dillon that's in charge, but they're very well strict, organised side. They've got some real experience in the side, but they know who they are. They know what they are, and I think that is what makes Accrington dangerous. I think they know exactly who they are, what they are. They recruit from non-league, which we've done obviously with the likes of Reece Staunton and Jays Cabia and that sort of thing. And Accrington have a similar model to that. Probably more in the non-league model, but they know what they're working with. Like I said, they know their identity, and that also makes a team very, very dangerous when they know what they are. So that's what makes this battle quite interesting. If you want a flutter on the game at certain places, 17-20 is Grimsby Town for the win, 13-5 at some places, and 29-10 is Accrington Stanley. Do gamble carefully if you do have a flutter. Gamble.org if you do have problems, but do gamble responsibly, which is always said. Please do gamble responsibly. Please do not gamble what you cannot afford to lose. But Mariners are obviously marginal favourites, basically home advantage. I mean the form as well, but I think more so home advantage. If we look at the longest winning run this season, it's 5 for the Mariners, 3 for Accrington. The longest losing streak has only been 2, 3 for Accrington. But the longest run without a win is 9 for Accrington. It's 6. Clean sheets, we've had 11 clean sheets this season. Accrington have had 9 clean sheets. If we look at obviously the biggest victory, the 7-1 win against Cheltenham back at the beginning of the season, they've had a 4-0 win. 3-0 has been our biggest defeat. That was against Barnet. A 3-1 defeat for Accrington is their biggest. We haven't missed penalties. We have obviously missed one last time out. Jace Cabia is the club's top scorer with 12 goals, and that's 9 in the league. Charles Vernon is the top assist. He scored 8 goals so far this season. Obviously unlucky with a penalty last time out. Whereas if you look at Accrington, Tyler Walton is the top goal scorer for them, and Sean Wally, the experienced midfielder, real trustworthy kind of guy. Here's their top assist maker of the season. If we look at the league table, we can near enough see each other back to back. The Grimsby Town lie in 12th. That's just on the edge of mid-table there. Well, that is mid-table. Accrington just below them in 13th. 2 points in it. The Mariners have 45. Accrington have 43. The Mariners' record so far this season is 1-12, drew 9 and lost 8, with 41 goals scored and 32 goals conceded. And Accrington have a very, very similar record. Played 29 games, won 12, drew 7 and lost 10. 35 goals scored, 30 conceded, a +5 goal difference, and 43 points for them. So in that kind of position, you're thinking, this is not going to be an easy game. And like I said, being just below halfway, as Accrington are, they're sort of showing that they're no pushovers. And they've definitely, I think, surpassed a lot of people's expectation. Are they in a playoff hunt? Of course they are. As it stands at the minute, from Walsall, only 6 points off Walsall. So if you want to put it in that perspective, they have to be in contention. And obviously, beating Salford, who are 3 points better off than Walsall, you can't disrupt or dispute that they're in the running. And I think it's now, after getting that 0-0 against Newport last time out, it's can we back it up with a home win? Then it won't feel so bad if we actually end up winning. But with the type of threats that Accrington have got. We have to be aware of that. I wonder whether it'll be James and Andy again. Probably not. I think Andy Cook may come out for this game. You might play Jays up there, and then turn it to where it's Burns and Vernon again, and maybe he might put Sellers Fleming in rather than Burns possibly. It'd be interesting to see whether Kasuri plays midweek. He might do, or he might make an appearance. Might be at Walsall. He might do it against Wolves. Who knows? But you do expect a few changes, like I said earlier in the preview, from Saturday. Maybe not many, because Artell's not one for making the bereft of changes. But I do wonder whether he will on this occasion. But we'll see. It'll be quite interesting to see what David does do with the team this time round. Obviously, a certain star right now is Jackson Smith. What a season that is having. What a time. I've seen people on social media say, sign him up. You know, I get that, you know. Barnsley fans like him, but as well, he doesn't complain, does he? He just gets on with it, and you know, he's a sound lad, and I wouldn't be against signing him up, to be honest. But we'll see where that goes, and like I say, he's Barnsley's player. He's still got, I think, 2 years left on his Barnsley contract, so. We'll see, but would I be against if that was a possibility? Absolutely not. I wouldn't be against it, but there you go. Obviously, with Christie still yet to return, you don't know how that's going to work because they're both, you know, they both believe they're first team starters. So we'll have to see what goes on. But like I said, what a season Jacko is having, and a period here. You know, whether it was a draw at the weekend or not, fantastic save for the penalty, another clean sheet, more positives than negatives, and can't fault the season that Jacko's having, and really also for, especially defensively. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But now, score prediction for me. This is a difficult one. I think at home you have to try and go for the win here. You do. You have to try and go for the win here. And at home, I've always said you should never fear playing anybody. I'm going to go for a Mariners win, honestly, because I think that we can bounce back. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Mariners win, and I'm trying to think who I think the goal scorers could possibly be. I'm going to go Vernon. Let's see who you think will start. I'm going to go Vernon. And Cabia. I think we'll get the two goals. Why not? Easy, I know, but you know, it wouldn't surprise me if you get a 40-yard scream at him by Greeny, or you know, a flying winger situation by Harvey Rogers. We have got a lot of threats, but I'm saying 2-0 against Accrington, but this is not an Accrington to take lightly at all. They are quite dangerous, and we need to show what a threat we are as a team. So interesting. Let me know what you guys think now. Can the Mariners get a win at home in a very, very busy week for the Mariners. 3 games in the next, well, be in the next 7 days. So let me know what you think down below. Who would you start in this game? How many changes would you make if you were David Artell? And what do you think the scoreline will be in this game? Can the Mariners build on that 0-0 draw with Newport? I know a lot of fans don't like hearing me say, can we build on a draw against the second bottom side? But can we back that draw with a first win in 2, and keep the unbeaten run going? It's unbeaten in 8 for the Mariners. Can we keep that going against Accrington Stanley? Let me know down below. Like, share, comment and subscribe. Hit that bell button. That'll let you know when I upload the review for this game, and of course the big preview against Wolves, which will be coming on Friday and Saturday, so do look out for that. That's why you should hit that bell button, and that'll let you know when I upload that video. But in the meantime, guys, up the Mariners, and we move on to match day 30. Yeah, guys, and can the Mariners bounce back and keep this run going? We'll find out. I'll see you guys soon. Ta-ra.